Hi all, welcome back to another video of TechTitans Academy. Okay, today we are going to see the Docker volumes. Okay, uh, so most probably we are going to see only two types of Docker volume, that is bind mount and the actual volume mount. Okay, so what exactly is the volume, right? Like uh, we all know the Docker container are uh, ephemeral in a nature. That means whatever data you put inside the Docker image will be gone as soon as the Docker image is stopped. Okay, now let me go back, let me show you some demo here. I'll open my screen. Okay, let me see if there is any container running. No, I don't see anything is there. Docker run ubuntu 700. I'm going to run a ubuntu container here. Okay, in a detached mode. Okay, okay, I should be having, yeah, I see the container up and running here. Now let me get inside the container. So we are going to run execute command, interactive shell. We are going to use container id. Okay, now see, when I run this command, I run it as a MacBook node user, and now I am inside the container. How do I verify? See this container id ECB that matches with the host name. Okay, and this is the root user, correct? Now let me create some file here, touch admission.txt under the temp location. Okay, I'm gonna add some data there. Okay, this is just the random data I would be adding. I will create one more file. Okay, let me add some random data to it. I'm gonna redirect this echo to salary. Okay, now let's check the file. Let's go to temp location. Okay, I will just run ls-l. I see two files are there, admission and the salary. Okay, my container has exited. I think we have passed 100 seconds. Let me spin up another container and get into it. Okay, I'll go to temp. I'll create the same files. Let me create this by directly copying the command. Okay, I'll just copy the same echo command. Okay, now I should be having two files. First one is admission, second one is salary. Okay, now as soon as I run a cat command on it, I should see the data, right? It says one TechTitans India. Okay, that's cool. Then salary, I see 124,000. Okay, now if I exit this container, okay, now let me clear the screen. I am inside my MacBook now. Okay, now I'm gonna run docker ps command. I can see that ubuntu container is up and running. Okay, now let me restart this container. I think I went into, okay, is it restarted? Yeah, I think yes. Let's get inside the container. Let's go to temp location now and let's see lslrth. No, it has not restarted, it seems. Let me do one thing, let me stop the container. Okay, now my container is going to be stopped. Okay, stop. Okay, cool. Now I'm gonna do one thing, I'm gonna run the same command, which is sleep 10,000 1,000. So I'm gonna spin up the same container. Okay, now I'm gonna get into the container. Now I'll go to the temp location. When I run lslrth, I don't see my data, right? If you remember, we have created this two file, salary and admission, which is under the temp data, correct, under this container. Now when I stop that container and created a new one, I don't see the data. So by default, these containers are ephemeral in a nature. Okay, ephemerals means whatever data you push inside the container will be gone after a stop. Okay, as soon as you stop the container, your data will be gone. You will not be able to retrieve your data. That's where the volume came into the picture. How do you persist the data? How do you save the data? Or how do you transfer the data from inside the container to the Docker engine host, or vice versa? Okay, so let's go back to the drawing part. Okay, I have this drawing. So we have a two types of mount here. Okay, so type of volume, you can say. First one is the bind mount. Okay, so what is bind mount? Okay, consider this. Okay, so this is the directory I've created. Let's say temp ubuntu data. Okay, this is created on my MacBook. Since we are using a MacBook, let's continue with the same OS. So I am going to create a same directory in my MacBook machine, correct? Now let's say this is my container. This is a ubuntu container, correct? This is a ubuntu container that I have, and I want to save the data. Whatever data I am going to create under the temp location inside the container, I want to save the data. Okay, even though I restart, stop, start, destroy the container, I should be able to retrieve the data. How do you do that? With the bind mount. Okay, what is a bind mount? We are mounting a specific directory, okay, from outside of your container to inside of your container. Okay, this directory will be created on your Mac OS or a Windows OS, whatever OS you are using. This will be created on the OS. Okay, and this is the directory we are mounting, which is available inside the container. Okay, let me show you. Let me just run exit docker ps. Let me stop the container. Okay, okay, gone. I think we should not see anything here. Yeah, there you go. I have no container running at the moment. Now let me create one directory. Okay, what is the requirement? We have to map outside directory, okay, to the directory which is available in container. Now let me create a temp directory, ubuntu data. Okay, let me run a ls command. Let's see what if there is any files inside that directory or not. No. Okay, because we have just created that directory, there are no data inside that directory. Now let's run the same command. Okay, docker run. This time we are going to mount this specific temp directory to the temp directory of container. Now how do I do that? -v is in volume mount. Okay, or a mount, I'm gonna give directory colon the directory which I want to mount, that is temp. So this is going to be the directory which I created on my MacBook. This is going to be the directory which is available in container, inside the container. Okay, the container name is ubuntu. I want this container to be running for, let's say, 1000 seconds, so I'm going to use it. Let's add a d, that is in a detach mode. Done. Docker ps, I still see that container is running. Let's get inside the container. Docker execute it container name or a container id bash. Now let's go to temp. If you see, we are inside the container now, root, and this is the host name c422, which is the name of the container, id of the container. Now let's create some files. Okay, I'm gonna create one more file. Okay, a T is missing here. Okay, we can rename it later on. Let me just rename it. Okay, I have to rename both of them. There is a typo. Okay, now I see it is salary and this student. Okay, cool. Now I have created two files inside the container under the temp directory. Okay, and what is the content of it? I see the content for salary. I see the content of student test file. Okay, now I'll just run a exit command. I'm coming out of that container. I'm back to the MacBook machine now. Docker ps. I still see that container is up and running. I'm gonna run docker stop. Okay, cool. Now the container is in stop mode. Now let's run the same command. We have to use the same command. Okay, now before running that command, let me show you the content of temp ubuntu data which we have mounted, right? I'll hit enter. I see two files. Whatever files we have created inside the container are available under this directory. So as soon as you create a file, that gets copied over to this directory is in my MacBook machine, correct? Now I'm gonna bind this directory, the same command, to the temp again. Done. Docker ps. Okay, container is up and running. Okay, I'm inside the container now. Let me go to the temp location. I'm gonna run ls lrth. I see two files. Okay, so how come these files are transferred over to this container? Because of the mount point. Okay, whatever we have created under this temp location got copied over to this one, and as soon as we started the container again, I still see the same file available to the temp location. Okay, now I'm gonna run a cat command, okay, on student and see if my data is there or not. Okay, my data is there. This is how you can save your data. Okay, this is how you can make a use of bind mount, okay, or a volumes in Docker. Now I'm gonna run exit. Okay, let me run a docker ps. So in previous session, like basic docker command session, we have seen how to get the metadata of this specific container, like get more data about the container. So in that scenario, we have to run inspect command, correct? Let me run an inspect command. I'll just scroll up. Okay, so under the mount, okay, we see what is the type of the mount. It's a bind mount. Okay, the source is going to be your MacBook folder and the destination is going to be your temp folder, which is available in your container. So we are moving data from temp ubuntu data to temp. Again, we are moving data from temp to temp ubuntu data, correct? So this is how you can see where exactly that folder is mounted and on which folder that bind is mounted. Okay, let's go back. Now we have seen mounting folder to folder. Okay, now there is another type, okay, which is the volume mount. So what is difference in the volume and bind mount? So when you create a volume mount, you actually get a logical partition on your hard drive, okay, that gets mounted to some random directory, okay, that is inside the varlib docker volume folder. Okay, we do not have to create the directory this time. Okay, docker will take care of it. Okay, we just have to create a volume. Okay, let's go back and check what is how we can create a volume here. Okay, now let me stop this container. Okay, so to create a volume, actual volume in Docker, we have to run a command docker volume. Okay, so these are the volumes are available at the moment, okay, in my MacBook machine. So how do I see how many commands it support? I'll just type docker volume and hit enter. You will see this is a docker volume command, manage mounts. So these are the command it supports. Just for example, remove, list, inspect, create. Okay, what we have to do, first step is to create a volume. Docker volume create. I'm gonna name that volume as a DevOps. Okay, if you see the DevOps has been created. Now I'm gonna run volume ls and I'll try grep DevOps. Okay, I see that volume is created. So again we have a same command, inspect command, just to get metadata of this volume. Docker, let's run the command and see what are the details we get. Inspect, I think docker volume inspect and then keyword DevOps. See, this is the metadata. Okay, this is the time it got created. And driver is local, label is null. So this is the mount point. Sorry, a mount point. Okay, so this is where exactly this specific DevOps volume has mounted. Okay, we did not mount any, we did not do any extra step, right? We did not perform any extra step. By default, Docker has mounted this specific volume DevOps to this specific directory. Okay, the scope is local. Okay, now let's go back. Now let's see how we can mount this specific volume here. I'm gonna run docker run, the same command we have to run. V DevOps is our name of the volume. I'm gonna bind that volume to temp location again. Okay, I'm gonna run ubuntu sleep. I want that container to be up and running. I will use the -d option here. Okay, okay, that container is up and running. Now let's get inside that container. Okay, we are inside the container now. So if you see, we have mounted that volume to temp location. Let's go to temp1. Okay, now there is no data. I'm gonna create a file. Okay, I have a file created there with the name of welcome banner, and if I run a cat command to see the content, okay, I see TechTitans. Welcome to TechTitans Academy. I think this has appended somewhere. I'll just do one thing. I'll just remove this lslrth part. Sorry, I have to add a double quotes. Okay, it is done. There you go. Okay, now it has. Okay, yeah, now I see a welcome banner, welcome to TechTitans Academy message. Okay, now I'll just exit this. I'll go back to docker stop. I'm gonna stop this. Okay, before let it stop. In the meanwhile, let's go back to the inspect command. Okay, so this specific volume which we have used DevOps is mounted onto this specific directory. Okay, now let's copy the directory. Let's run lslrts command there. Okay, let me try to var lib docker volumes. We should see the directory. Okay, that's fine. Let's to be honest, we should be able to see the content of that directory. We should see the welcome banner file being added there, but somehow the directory is not available. That's fine. Let me check if there is any container running. No, we don't see any container is running at the moment. Now we are gonna run the same command, which is docker run mount a volume DevOps to temp with -d mode. D is in detach mode. Okay, Ubuntu, I want that container to be sleep. Okay, for 1000 seconds. Docker ps, I see that container is running. Let's get inside the container. Bash. Let's go to temp. Now I'm gonna run lslrts. I still see the welcome banner there, right? Why I see that file there? Because we have mounted a specific volume to this directory. Okay, so whatever file we are going to create under the temp directory will get copied over to this volume, and as soon as we recreate the specific container, all the files from this volume will get copied over to temp location. Okay, this is how you persist the data. Okay, now let's exit. Okay, let's run docker ps. Okay, let's try to inspect the container with the inspect command. Inspect docker inspect container id. I should be able to see. See, under the mount section, I see the type is volume. Earlier the type was bind, right? Because that was for bind mounting. This is actual volume mounting. Name of this volume is DevOps. So this is where it is supposed to save the file, and it is doing it. I think the destination, which is the location available in container. So driver is local, mode is Z. This is fine. Let's scroll down. Okay, let me copy this directory and try to see if we can jump to the directory directly. No, there is some issue. I don't know, like. Okay, I have a desktop. Let's quickly check where exactly those data are going. I'll go to this volume. I'm gonna search DevOps. Okay, it is, if you see, it is in use because we have mount this volume to the Ubuntu container. So source data is welcome banner message. So since I have the UI option for Docker, I can see it. Okay, if I go empty the volume, no, container in use. Okay, that's it. Like I to be honest, I am not sure like why it is not running. I think my Docker desktop is installed somewhere, but still this inspect is pointing to this location. I have to find that folder, this one. Okay, since we are seeing the data while recreating the container, so somewhere it is saving the data for sure, but uh, we are not getting a proper directory source here. Okay, that's completely fine. Like, let's go back to drawing. So what we have seen, we have seen two types of mount here, or volume. First one is bind. In a bind, we are mounting this specific directory to the directory inside the container. Okay, but if you remove this specific directory, or your data will be gone. Okay, with the help of volume mount, you have to create a volume just like this, docker volume create TechTitans, and then you have to mount that specific volume to the directory. There are certain advantages, just like you can mount this specific volume to multiple Ubuntu containers or multiple other containers, right? So that will also work. One volume can be mounted to multiple containers. Okay, you can mount this specific to 10 different Ubuntu machines, CentOS machine, or Fedora machines, and you can save your data there. Okay, so that's all about the volume mount in a Docker. Okay, thank you so much, guys. Thank you.